I'm going to make a bold statement today. Every brand needs to be creating founder ads. Not some brands, not big brands, not small brands, every single brand. And in a majority of accounts that we are on, founder ads are some of the top performing ads. And they outscale almost everything else. The beauty is that they don't fatigue like other creative styles, and they tap into something that other ad formats just can't replicate. But yet, most brands are just not actually doing them. So, in today's episode of In the Cutting Room, what we're going to talk about is why are founder ads so great, but then also how you can go out and create your first founder ads. Most of the time, when it comes to founder ads, the reason why there are issues with making them is because the founder doesn't have time. So we'll talk about that. I'm out here in Seattle. It's a beautiful day. My office is right on the water. So you're going to hear boats, you're going to hear seaplanes, but that's just part of the experience of the podcast. So let's talk about a little bit of why are founder ads so great? I think so many times people are looking for authenticity of content. Founder ads is authenticity at scale. It's authenticity at scale. And most people are chasing after influencers, creators to make them this quote unquote authentic content. But the purest form of authenticity is the founder. No one can replace that depth of truth. And even if there are some great creators or influencers out there that have this, great vibe to them, there's the seaplane. There it goes. There's a lot of these. You're going to hear things, and if you were able to see out what I see, it's very Seattle of an experience here. Just bringing some local vibes to you and your listening of this podcast. There could be great influencers and creators who really align with the brand, but nobody aligns more with the brand than the founder themselves. And when you have somebody watching the founder actually talk about their product, they're not seeing just like another faceless brand. Wow, the seaplanes are out. This weekend specifically is Sea Fair, which is a whole thing in Seattle. So lots of boats, lots of planes. Anyway, but when somebody is watching a founder talk about their product, they are not seeing kind of like this faceless brand pushing features and benefits. They're seeing a person who wakes up every single day thinking about solving their problem. And that just hits different. And founder ads work because it transfers trust faster. I think people buy from people. You've got stories that are stickier, right? Like founders have personal stories that people can relate to. So that kind of goes off of like the people buy from people. Authority is instant, right? Who knows the product better than the person who created it, the founder? And also why they work is because unlike trending creative styles, authenticity never gets old. So what the founder is saying today about their product and about their brand will still be true 5, 10 years from now. So that ad unit is worth so much when it can scale, because that same ad should be able to perform over a long period of time. But the issue that a lot of people have is always going to be the execution of this founder ad. Why? Most people don't have time. But there's some other issues that come up when it comes to founder ads, because I have heard the sentiment that founder ads don't work for us. I've heard somebody say that to me. Ultimately, whenever I hear that, I am like, that is not true. It's really just a matter of the execution was not good, but the concept is good, right? The concept of a founder ad absolutely works and will always work. The execution of that is not always the best, and so that's why it doesn't work. But just because the execution was bad doesn't mean that you just never do founder ads again, right? So what are some common mistakes that I see when it comes to when that execution doesn't actually execute well? The first thing is that the script is about the founder and not about the viewer. Let me say that again. The script is about the founder, not about the viewer. See, the issue when founders are like, yes, I'm going to do these founder ads, is that they end up talking about themselves, their story. They start to kind of, look at me. And nobody really actually cares as much about that, right? Like, you still have to be selling a product. You still actually have to communicate just like another ad would, right? The other ads would be, we're trying to talk to the viewer. But if you're just talking at them about your story and how great you are and how great your product is without really relating it back to them and their struggles and their point of view, that is not going to work well. Other common mistakes is that the founder just feels awkward. I think a lot of times people don't even do founders ads because they don't feel comfortable on camera. But if you're a founder, you need to get comfortable being on camera. And then the last thing is that, there's not a clear structure or script. So then the founders know what makes their product great. They know why it's so awesome, but they don't have a script. They don't have it in a way that's actually going to sell the product. So they're just kind of like, again, talking to you. It's not even that they're talking about themselves. They have some sort of ego. It's just that they are just talking and there is no structure to the ad. So like a viewer's like, okay, where is this going? How's this helpful for me? And they get bored. I will say that the worst one is when the founders just talking about themselves. So you have to be very, very careful of how much of a story are you telling without it being about you, and again making sure that it relates back to the viewer it's themselves. The goal of a founder ad is not to pump up your ego. Okay. It's about giving a unique perspective to communicate your product to the viewer that nobody else can do. Remember, all ads should be about the viewer. Okay. All ads should be about the viewer, even the founder ads themselves. And that gets missed a lot. The cool thing about founder ads is that they can work in multiple styles, and that's going to be different per brand. But you can do high-end production, so very like beautiful, talking head type content. You can do some more lo-fi smartphone type like videos that can work well for brands. Then there's like the podcast style, and then maybe sometimes it's like the behind the scenes style. So there's definitely many ways in which you can do a founder ad. You don't have to do it one way or the other. And each, like, there again, one of these styles could work for you as a brand. The other ones don't work as your brand, right? So you want to be testing out many different styles. And I think also too, like, depending on who the founder is, they're going to be more comfortable doing certain things, right? So if somebody is more native to creating videos themselves, social content, they probably will feel really great about like that lo-fi behind the scenes type content. Somebody that doesn't do that a lot, it might be hard to be holding the camera and trying to like record, but having a more of a like a teleprompter and a higher, hi-fi kind of production, that could be a better environment for them. So depending on the founder, they are going to be more comfortable in certain settings, and then the different styles will work for them and the brand itself. So here's what I think. You got to start small when you first start, but I think it's important to get started. We saw this brand, we still work with them. We started with them last year, and in the initial audit, I was like, look, you need to do founder ads, right? The founder is a designer, they're designing the pieces. It was like, how were you not telling me about the designs? Like, if I were a buyer, I would want to know who designed it and why did they design it. So we started putting the founder on camera. First, it started about 10% of the budget was going towards founder ads, and they were working really well. Then, over time, the founder got more and more comfortable, so they were more willing to shoot more content, do more content. And then all of a sudden, then it started to not only get consistency of creating content with them every few weeks, but then on top of that, these ads started to perform. Now to the point where the top performing ads are founder ads talking about the designs of the product. And when we are launching new SKUs or anything like that, founder ads is the cornerstone of that launch strategy. If we don't have founder concepts within that launch strategy, we are missing big time. So it's really cool to see how an account went from no founder ads, no talking, no nothing, to a year later, founder ads have spent over $1 million. It is the cornerstone of the strategy. And the founder themselves has gotten so comfortable to the point where they are willing to do shoots, and they know that this is the biggest part for acquisition is them showing up on camera. And it just takes one ad. It just takes starting small and then getting there and like getting better. And we had to coach, we had to give suggestions on how to communicate, how to talk on camera. It is hard. It's not easy doing this, right? But you've got to push through. And my encouragement and why I'm telling you that story is because there are possibilities of, hey, this can open up like a massive amount of performance for you that you don't have in your account. That is worth doing. That is worth pursuing, right? If you go a whole year doing founder ads and none of those work, please let me know. I will apologize. But I have never seen that happen. I have seen people give up on founder ads too soon. I've also seen people who haven't given up on founder ads and then it breaks through and it becomes something that spends six figures consistently every single month. I don't know about you, but I would want that. So it's worth doing. But let's make it easier for you. Okay. Let's talk about how can we actually get past this barrier, because of the ad content. The reason why this is the hardest to get when it comes to the ad content is the fact that the founders are the busiest people, right? So them jumping on camera is not the easiest, especially for founders who again are not like as socially native, right? Maybe founders who already have created content, maybe they already like do stuff for their own personal brand, then it's a lot easier. But for majority of founders or people who are creating brands, they're more like about the product. They're very much about building this product and brand. So they're not as much going to be like, yeah, let me just jump on camera and do a bunch of stuff. And even if they are socially native, let's just say that they are, and video native, most likely they've got a million other things they're going to do. So there's still this time barrier. So here's how we can make it a lot easier, especially if you're listening to this and you are not the founder, but you're just somebody on the team helping the founder. Here's what I would do. Okay. You're going to give them 3 to 5 questions to answer. They're going to know your product better than anybody else, right? So give them 3 to 5 questions to answer, have them focus on customer problems and personal stories, and you're going to keep the sessions no more than 30 minutes. Okay. So put on the calendar 30 minutes, and then you're going to ask 3 to 5 questions, record it, boom, done. For the production, you can use their phone. You can use your phone, use their phone, natural light, or like a simple ring light. Do it at their office, warehouse, home, whatever, anywhere that is a familiar environment so that they feel comfortable. If you have to bring them to a new location and do all stuff, it is a lot harder to get that person comfortable. So have them start being comfortable where they are. And this is for you. If you are trying to make content yourself, like just be in a place that you are the most comfortable in, like whether that's the warehouse, the office, the home, whatever, just start there. Here are some questions that I would ask. So instead of going like, tell me about your product, try, what's the biggest misconception people have about your problem that your product solves, whatever that problem is. Another question could be, why is your product different than others on the market? Another question is, this customer asked blank, insert the comment or question. What's your answer? And then they'll go and answer it. How does your product work? Explain that to me. Explain how does your product work? Boom. And they explain it back to you. And just having them answer these 4 questions just to get started, they are going to have answers. They have answers. Like founders are like, oh, I don't know how to make content. It's like, you have so much knowledge about what you're doing. Maybe you don't have like know how to structure it all or whatever, but you've got the actual material that needs to be in content, right? You know your product so well. So I would just first start with those questions and get started. 30 minutes max. You want to make this as low of barrier to entry as you can, right? We get it. It's uncomfortable, yada, yada, yada. But if we can just make it as easy as possible, 30 minutes in your house, answer these few questions on an iPhone, go, that is going to be a lot better than nothing at all. Okay. Um, I think that the founder has some of the best content just sitting in their head. They've got the origin stories, they have customer insights, industry expertise, personal experiences, all of those things. The stories, the insights make great ads. We should be interviewing the founders to extract all of that, right? So if you are a marketer and you're not the founder, just ask the founder questions to get those stories, to get those insights, to get that expertise. If you are the founder, like if you're listening to this and you are the founder, then and you're doing this yourself, have Claude or ChatGPT ask you questions. Say, hey, I want to make an ad about the expertise of, like the industry or the product. What common questions do you think I should be able to answer to make an ad? And then it'll spit out like questions and just it prompts you and then you answer it, right? So instead of you asking ChatGPT for answers, have them ask you for answers, right? And I think like the biggest thing is that not every founder needs to be like this polished like spokesperson. I think that there can be like a few different ways. You can be like more of like an educator, you can be more of like a storyteller, you can be more of the expert, maybe problem solver, so you're focusing on like customer pain points. You want to find your style, right? Like maybe you are like this very deep in like the industry expertise and like you want to educate and you want to have this authority. That's great. Other people are going to have more of this like storytelling, brand building, world building kind of POV. Find what style works for you. And it's going to be a journey, right? You're not going to get it right on the first jump, but it's worth trying and playing with. Now, here are some practical next steps. You are going to go and create some banner ads right now. Stop after you watch this, like stop what you're doing, clear your day. We're going to make some founder ads. Here's how you should think about it over the course of the next few months, the next month. Right? In the next week, have your founder, or if that's you, or if you're the marketer, have your founder answer 5 customer objections on the phone. It's fine. Then test those ads, analyze the performance, and double down on the winners, and then plan out your next batch of content that works. Remember, it's 30 minutes on the calendar. And what I would say is have that a recurring monthly 30 minutes on the calendar. All right. Book in that time. Founders are busy. But if this is important, right? If this can help you scale 6 figures a month just on this line of content, you should probably spend some time to do that. And if your founder is struggling to like justify why they shouldn't be on camera or not, that's not a good thing, right? They need to be in on video as much as they can be. So there's a lot of times where for many people, they are looking at what's the latest ad style, what's the latest format that we can test out or try. But with founder ads, this is not just a trend. It is not just like a hack or something like that. These are timeless, right? There is nothing more authentic than the founder talking about their product. So if you can create these ad units today, they can also spend over a long period of time. People have been buying from people that they trust, and they've been doing this for thousands of years, forever. And that's not changing anytime soon. So people buy from people, and it's not really a question of whether your founder ads will work. The question should be how much growth are you leaving on the table by not actually doing them? That is today's episode of In the Cutting Room. We're talking about founder ads. Let me know if you have any other questions. I'd love to answer them as much as I possibly can. So feel free to reach out to me on Twitter, LinkedIn, all of the places down in the comments below, whatever it is. But thank you so much for joining me on this beautiful Seattle summer day. There's a lot of chaos, a lot of things happening in the water, but all good. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll catch you later. Bye bye.